Hello everyone! Have you been running around a lot wondering how to use your Tamer skills in Digimon World Next Order? Which one of them are any good? Which one should you focus on first? I found a lot of differing opinions, and after playing this game through multiple times, you guys seem to like my training video. So let's go ahead and dive into Tamer skills of Digimon World Next Order, and let me tell you what I found to be useful in my adventures in the digital world. So first I'm just going to run through the skills in order, giving you a brief explanation of what they do and generally how important I think they are. At the end of the video, you can find it down in the bookmarks, I will go ahead and make it a quick review if people want to know the tier lists right in order. So let's start going right down the list. You start out in the basic, you start with Treat type. For only 3 TP you can get a small boost to your mood. Mood can do a small amount of increase to your damage in battle. So, if you got nothing better to do, for 3 points, it's cheap enough. It's not hard to get. But I've almost never really noticed this boost. I mean, your Digimon do rank up cranky, so helping them to get happier faster can be helpful, but not very important. Small boost during Bond. I have never had a problem building up Bond with my Digimon. And Bond is pretty much only a need if you're trying to get into the EXCs in the late game, or if you're trying to do Digivolving requirements. So again, 3 points is cheap enough, but it's definitely not one that I would consider critical. Now, out of all of these, actually, the one I would recommend the most for just the 3 points is Digifriend, because Digifriend is the hardest of these to improve. At least I've always found that is the last thing that I improve. I mean, you can feed your Digimon some things in the restaurant, yada yada, to improve it, but I've always had a problem with Digifriend. And Digifriend is needed for EXE, and is also needed to have your Digimon help each other out, defend each other, get themselves out of status ailments. Digifriend can be quite good. So generally, this will be the one I put in a point in early on. And then, I mean, gaining Tamer experience, in the long run, this is an extremely good talent to have. But because it costs so much and the other two leading up to it aren't so great, that I don't recommend. So, for the most part, I would save this one for a while, even though it is really tempting to get the additional Tamer experience because it takes for a long time to max out your Tamer level. Move over to Life. Life gain. Life gain is important. So, 3 TP to gain life every time you Digivolve, absolutely worth it. I cannot tell you the exact numbers of how much life this gives, but when you start stacking a bunch of these life type things on top of each other, you will definitely notice the difference within your first couple of generations. Highly recommend this for only 3 points. And again, 3 points increases natural life. Once again, you want to get stuff done, especially in the early game when there's a lot of stuff to do and it feels overwhelming at times. Having more time with stronger Digimon to do it, highly recommended. And even though the big life booster for 15 points is expensive, again, you want it. It requires a lot of time in order to get up to 15 points, so it won't be something that you pick up early. But as soon as you pick up the essentials, this is another one that you can then pick up soon after. Carrier type. There are so many different items in this game, between healing items and food items and everything that you pick up that you need to carry along. So at least getting this first level for 5 points to increase your capacity by 30 is a must. If you are at all the type that likes to do battles and pick up a lot of items, you need this. 40, going up to 40 for 8. You can get away with not doing this for a while, but eventually you'll want it just because you will have a lot of points and you can get it. It's a good pickup, obviously, but not required. And then the last two, 12 for 50. I almost never feel I really have that many items I need. I mean, you've already doubled your item capacity to get up to 40. So a little more, and then a little more for 15 TP. I'm not impressed. Certainly get it if you like. It can be handy to have. You don't have to go to the warehouses often and drop stuff off, but again, not a critical one. Now this is the one that I will probably get the most flack for. I have heard people gush about getting your Digi-Egg Polish, your reverse types. Myself, I know the numbers on this one. Normally when your Digimon revert, you come back with 10% of your stats that you had, plus whatever boost you get from the egg if they had a boost. So, what does 1 point in this give? Gives an additional 1% per point that you put into it. So, even if you have 9,999 max stats, if you've watched my previous video, you may very well have that much. An additional 1% of that is 100. That's like that's a little more than 3 battles. It's a little less than 4. When you're doing that much battle training, that much of a difference, I just don't feel like it matters that much. So sure, the first point, it's only for 3 TP, absolutely. Second one for 7, maybe, sure, if you don't like doing that many battles. But then, once you get to... Hello, Peggy. So the second one for, 7 TP, that could be worth it. But once you start getting into 10 TP, 12 TP for these last ones, I do not feel that is necessarily worth it. Again, once you're in the end game and you don't have as much else to put your points into, sure. But I know these are very highly touted, and I do not subscribe to that. So, teacher types. Increasing your strength, speed, wisdom and MP, or HP and stamina. I'm just going to go over these all together because, well, they're the exact same thing, just for 2 different stats. They're all worth 3. If you really want to do this because at the very beginning you might be using some gym training, go for it. But see my previous video again, you don't do gym training, you do battle training. So increasing your gains from stats in the gym will not do much for you because they are just... You'll get better stats elsewhere. You don't need this. And then it's good. My advice is going to carry through most of this tree. So further boost the effects of critical training. I mean, cool. When you do training, it's better, but it's 8 points that you could put towards things you'll actually use, and you'll use this just for your baby and in training Digimon. Reduces fatigue from training. This is the one that, if it does actually reduce your fatigue from battles, absolutely, then this would actually be worth spending some of the other points in order to get. But as to the best of my knowledge, this doesn't change the amount that you gain from battles, so again, not worth it. And again, further boost the effects of all training. There are other Tamer skills that will increase your battle training methods. So 15 points for something that you will barely ever use, not at all worth it. Pick this up as one of your very last skills that you ever pick up. Life Care. Boost mood when eating. Again, I've never had a problem boosting mood, and it only gives you a slight buff in battle. Having your Digimon in a bad mood, I've never really noticed it doing anything. So again, not a big deal. Was happiness when using the bathroom. I mean, sure. Really, if you're having a problem with happiness, go for it. It's 3 points. But no, what's the point? I don't understand. HP, MP, and fatigue recovery from sleep. I mean, fine if you're really that low on healing items and really need the additional recovery. But usually it gives you a big enough chunk that it doesn't really matter, as long as you have some of the better survival skills we'll get to later. It's not really going to matter. Boost the effects of scolding and praising. This will give you Digifriend, bonds, and discipline, and happiness. This will give you a lot of things. So any of these, if you're going to take, this is the one I would recommend. It's only 3 points, so sure, go ahead. And being able to gain more Digifriend whenever you're doing all of these other things is good. But is it worth 12 points plus the additional 12 points that you have to put in the other stuff to get it? I just don't really feel that this is really that important. So feel free to get this whenever you can, but not critical. Good Digivolution. Parameters raise when your partners Digivolve. If you don't like to do a lot of combat training and want to reduce a little bit of that so you gain more stats otherwise, sure, absolutely. Especially, again, for your first generation or two, this can be a nice boost to get you past some points, and it's only 5. So, it's a fine skill to use. Fresh Digivolution. Parameters rise when partners Digivolve into a Digimon for the first time. So, whenever you're doing new Digimon, which when you're first starting out, they're all new. You've never had that Digimon before. So go right ahead, pick it up, use it, enjoy it. It's only 5. Now, parameters rise when partners Digivolve into a Digimon for the second time or thereafter for 8. At first, you might think, oh, I'm not going to repeat that many Digimon, I want to complete my field guide. This isn't that helpful. You have to remember, even Digivolving from an egg into a baby Digimon counts as a Digivolve. So if you're using the same baby Digimon, which will then thereafter have to become the same in training because you only have one route to go through those ranks, this will increase your gains right away, so you can jump right into battle training without having to worry. So this skill is better than I originally gave it credit for. Again, because you can just do battle training to get those stats, it's not critical, but it is better than you might think at first glance. And the Great Digivolution with even bigger Digivolving boosts, again, cool, but it's so expensive for just gaining more stats when you can just gain stats through battling. This is really just a way to make things a little more efficient. It's not necessarily something you have to do. Binder types. Increased discovery rate of wild-grown ingredients. Again, it's cheap, so if you really early game want to pick this up so you don't have to worry about food as much, or you can better control their weight by picking stuff up, or even if you are low on bits and want to sell the stuff, 3 points, absolutely, go for it. I would do it. But the 8 points, I don't think is worth it early game. You have so much more important things that you can do. The rare stuff isn't that much better. The fishing hit rate. Fishing can be a good source of income and can be far less tedious if you increase the amount of times that you aren't completely wasting your time throwing the rod in the water. So at least the 3 points here, I would recommend. 8 points here, unless you're using fishing to be your entire main source of income instead of like using battles like I would use, sure, go for it. But with my style, I would only take these first 2. And then once you really reach the late game, then worry about any of these other ones that increase these rates further. Now, all of the extractor types, they do the pretty much exact same thing. Metal, rock, wood, and water. They do pretty much the same things, and then the last one is for all of them. All of these types, you need these late game. But early game, they're not really going to help you at all. So these are mid-game pickups for all of these, and then when you're finally trying to maximize your town in the end game, that is when you would go for the Material Master, so you can actually finish leveling up all of your buildings. Camping. I have heard that people gush about high-level camping and cooking stuff, and sure, it can be a way that you don't have to go back to the restaurant in order to gain some really good stats. But all in all, nah, I would not bother. They really just don't do enough. You need to make sure you bring very specific things to do a lot of cooking. I mean, it will make you preparing regular meat even a little bit better. So, you know, having the basic point in it is fine. But I have seen no reason to really push for any of these higher ones. Walker type. Okay, all of these are amazing. Okay, let me go a little more in depth into it. 3 points for free health recovery. Do I want to freely be able to get my health back instead of having to spend money on healing items that I constantly need because I'm doing all this battling? Well, yes, that is amazing. So, yes, get this. Get this as soon as you can. I cannot stress that this is an amazing ability. Lessens the negative effect of disliked places and lowers the likelihood of getting sick. This is fine. It's really required to get a much better thing, so I still recommend getting this fairly early because you really want what it leads to, and again, getting medicine can be difficult early game. You have to get lucky to get it from your daily items. So, reducing the amount of times they get sick is a good idea. Let's see. If I really like getting free HP back, what if I could get free MP back as well? Yes, that sounds amazing as well. This is one of the most expensive things that I would say, yes, get immediately. 7 points is a little expensive at the very beginning, but just freely getting HP and MP back and not having to sit there in battle, not be able to do anything, or having to spend more money on MP items is amazing. Just go with this. use these, and then yeah, massive. I mean, when you have the healthy at the end here, it's the main reason I recommended getting the mental trainer. You can get MP and HP back so much just running around that you will not have to use anywhere near as many healing items. It will save you so much in the long run. It's just such a nice freebie to have. Order types. So, second order, must have. Because whenever you want to do attacks, you want to have a good attacking move and a buffing move if your Digimon has it. And that's it. So, the second order, must get. Third order, next order, get them whenever you want. Actually, having that many slots on your Digimon means you can be more interesting, have more moves on your Digimon, but really it makes it harder for you to use the good moves. So, if you want to actually optimize, have less moves, not more. Defend. Get this immediately, as soon as you possibly can. Being able to defend will save you so much damage, especially against Digimon that are reasonably tough, that it is incredible how much you will need this ability. As soon as you activate it, even before the animation goes off, you will greatly reduce the amount of damage you take by like 75%. It makes it so you can survive things you normally wouldn't be able to otherwise. Unless, of course, you get the upgraded version, which reduces it so you always take 1 damage when guarding. And that is really good. So this is another really good thing to get to reduce the damage that much. It is not critical because defense is usually enough, but it is very good. Boost order power raise rate, again, very good. Whenever you want to be able to use your defend actions, your finishers to really do good damage, you want more order power. So for your first 3 points, your first few points, OP gain is very good. And finally, the OP Master. This is the only reason you would ever have to get third and next order, is because it boosts your initial. This really helps you get finishers off almost immediately in battles when your bonds are high enough that you can really just go to town and wreck faces. But because it requires getting 2 useless abilities to get to it, it's hard for me to recommend that you go get it immediately. Ascertainment. Raises damage of cooperating and boosts attacks a little further. Again, for 3 points, sure, whatever. But the amount of times that your Digimon do combo attacks really depends on if their speed is the same. So if you have 2 Digimon that speed are very similar and they're using 2 similar speed abilities, their animations are about the same time, this will happen more often. But again, it's 3 points, sure. I mean, this is fun. But you can't control your Digimon to be able to get these huge boosts to critical rate from attacks from behind with absolute blind spot. So, again, it's cute, it's fine, but for 5 points, not really all that great. Buffer. Slightly raise the effects of attack skills to strengthen your friends. Amazing. Buffs are overpowered in this game. Buffs are your friend. They will let you go beat up things that you normally shouldn't be able to for your power level. Get this. It is amazing. You will not regret using buffs and using this. Fighting Spirit. How's the OP cost when you use a special move? Occasionally, I mean, so that's nice when it goes off, and it can really save you if it goes off when you use your signature move. But usually when you're using your signature moves, unless it's a really big boss battle, the battle's going to be over anyway, so having the OP cost after the fact, even though you still have to have the amount to use it, won't help you use it faster, so that's not as important. Raises the rate of being granted status ailments. Debuffer. Again, debuffs are very annoying or very strong. So if you can paralyze or if you can pixelize a Digimon, it really renders them pretty useless. But a lot of the big bad Digimon are really hard to get this kind of stuff off on anyway. And some of the best attacks in the game for damage don't do any of these. So again, not a huge deal. Absolute Focus gives beats the MP cost when your partner attacks. I used to think this is amazing. I was always running out of MP, so always get this. But when I talked to some speedrunners and stuff and realized that really the best moves in the games are the tier 1 attacks for the most part, and a couple of buffs that don't really burn through your TP, this is not important at all. You will not have any MP problems if you're actually running optimal. I mean, if you want to have some fun using the big bad moves, sure, absolutely get this late game and enjoy. But it is not important. Range expansion. Expands the area of effect of thrown items in battle. I mean, it's nice because sometimes you'll double dip and you'll get, both of your Digimon in a heal, so you have to use less healing items, so it's nice. 3 points, sure, but don't hurt yourself trying to get this. Sort of battle flag faster and reach your partner quicker. Quick pitch. I've never really noticed this too often. The only reason this is at all helpful is it means that you get the item to them faster. That it means you could chuck the next item faster is really the main thing. It's not that necessarily the item doesn't get there in time to save their life usually. Occasionally it could do that too, but it's really that it allows you to rapid fire throw discs as often as you like. Like the dimensional pitch. Occasionally makes the cost 0 when an item is thrown in battle. Now a lot of occasionally people really don't like this one because it's not reliable, but I find it triggers often enough for me that I love next dimension pitch. I would not say it's the necessary very first one you get, but it is very useful. So I would certainly pick this up after you get the first few core skills you really need. Spirit Pitcher. Slightly raises the order power of a partner who throws a combat item. Okay, so this one's a little confusing. This one's not worded very well. Thank you, translations. This one is when you throw an item at a Digimon, they gain order power. So that means that you don't have to... If you're constantly throwing items, you can't cheer because it resets your meter every time you throw an item, so you can't... It's on cooldown. So being able to constantly just heal your Digimon by spamming healing items and give them the order power to still be able to defend and use finishers is very nice when you get into the endgame boss battles. Again, not a critical early one, but when you get to the tough bosses in the end, it can be very helpful. Item Getter. Raises the post-battle item drop rate. Yes, give me more free stuff. This is more healing items. This is more food. This is more stuff you can just sell if you don't need it. This will greatly increase your bit intake and reduce the amount that you need to buy when you're in town. Especially in the early game when such things are a little more tight. Increase the amount of bits you get when you can collect after a battle. Bit Getter. Go get it. Yeah, again, more free stuff. If you are doing combat training like you should be, this will give you an amazing amount of extra bits. Explorer, raise the post-battle item drop rate even more. Again, it's very nice. As long as you have the first one, it's not critical to get this one, but I would still very much recommend getting this one as soon as you're comfortable spending that amount of, saving up and spending that amount of points on it. And then further raises it even more. I mean, again, it's amazing. Free stuff. I love free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff? But it's just a little much. You don't need 15 for that for a while. Once you have a bunch of the others, you can lay off this tree and then pick this up when you're feeling a little more comfortable with the amount of points that you have. Skill Observation. Boost in-battle skill learning rate. Yes. For 3 points, absolutely. Take this, because when you are in the very beginning of the game, you need to learn moves in order to get your buffs and be able to fight better. So, having more abilities gives you more options, better attacks, easier time. Learn from experience. Boost efficacy of post-battle parameter increase. So this just means more stats every time you train. If you're doing battle training like you're supposed to, this is a must-get within your first couple of Tamer levels, because this will really set you on the path of making it far easier to battle train, because you'll be getting an additional 2 stats per battle, which doesn't sound like a lot at first, but when you realize just how many battles you do, it adds up so fast. And this is even better. It furthers it even more. This is how you get up to 26 stats per battle. And I know it's expensive. Ooh, look at that 15. That's really tough to stomach. But get it. Get it now. Enjoy. And don't look back. You will never regret taking this ability. And so, for a quick recap, here are the skills by category of what is good. The tier 1 skills that you must get as soon as possible. Long life Digivolution, life boost and high carry for basic. In the trainer, there are none. For the survivor, there's health runner and invigorating runner. In the commander category, we have second order and defense order, item getter and bit getter, learn from experience, skill observation, and skill research. The tier 2s, we have big life booster, mega carry, and digi egg polish for basic. For trainer, we have good Digivolution and fresh Digivolution. For survivor, we have mental trainer and healthy. For tier 2 commander, we have OP gain and high defense, buffer, next dimension pitch, spirit pitcher, explorer, and drop master. Now for the tier 3s. In the basic, we just have Zeal injection. For the trainer, we have Digifriend boost, heart master, life master, Digivolution veteran, and great Digivolution. In Survivor, we have Fisherman and Grander. In Commander, there is Order Type, Ascertainment and Debuffer, Fighting Spirit, Range Expansion, and Quick Pitch. And finally, for the Tier 4s, we have, in Basic, Mood Boost and Bond Boost, Giga Carry and Max Carry, Love Injection and Heaven's Blessing. For Trainer skills, we have Power Trainer and Intellect Trainer, Toughness Trainer, Fatigue Care and Luck Booster, Master Trainer, Eating Care and Bathroom Care, Sleep Care, and Affection. For Survivor, we have Wild Finder and Wild Scouter, Ingredient Hunter, Metal Man and Stone Man, Liquid Man and Wood Man, Material Master, Cooking Boy and Mr. Cook, and the Ultimate Chef. And finally, for Commander, we have Third Order, Next Order, Absolute Blind Spot, and Absolute Focus. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope this was informative and you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Digimon content from me. And as always, everyone, remember to be awesome. Until the next one, take care. Bye-bye!